Hello everyone, we're Team Lanida and this is our project. Everyone knows that university is hard and many students really struggle, especially new high school students that have to deal with the fact that study strategies that worked in high school don't work in university. We set out to find a way to help students along with their studies and discovered that a major reason that people struggle is because they schedule when to study, not what to study. After interviewing dozens of students and collecting over 100 survey responses, we found that younger students and those with less work experience struggled with their time management the most. With this information in mind, we settled with the following problem statement. We are trying to learn whether students have trouble planning an effective study schedule to find out how students adapt their study plans to complete their assignments on time and study enough for their tests in order to assist younger students and those with less work experience. Next in our presentation, we'll discuss our formative studies before moving on to our product demo. What we came up with was a solution that we call the Automated Study Schedule. This is a cross-platform application available to students on desktop and mobile, targeting three main pain points that we discovered through our research. We provide a calendar, a comprehensive task list, and complete class information to our users through clean and consistent material design. But before we dive into our final product, let's discuss the formative studies that shaped our perspectives.
For our first formative study, we chose to use an online questionnaire hosted by Google Forms. The methodology behind using this specific formative study method was that we wanted to get as many inputs as possible, and thus we needed something that could be easily shared online with little to no onboarding. In total, we heard from 118 participants from an age group range of 18 to 26 and a work experience range of 0 to 84 months, with an outlier of 132 hours. We also found that the most common troubles related to creating and maintaining a study schedule were time management, with 45%, and procrastination, with 17%. The most used platforms consisted of pen and paper, with 43%, and a Google Calendar, with 32%. Finally, we found that the most popular reason for success with an assessment were starting earlier, with 21%, and making a schedule, with 18%.
For the second formative study, we conducted interviews with target users. From the results, we learned that the hardest part of making study plan is estimating the time cost of each task. We then conducted a pop-up feature to provide an average time taken on completing a similar task to assist the time estimation by users. Also, users can indicate the priority of each task and choose whether it is an individual work or a group work to improve the precision of the time estimation by the platform. Furthermore, to assist users to follow up their schedule mate, we made a checklist design for users to check off their work done. After we finished our design on paper, we had 2 evaluations with professionals to find out the strength and the weakness of our design. We also recorded and observed the process of completing the provided tasks by target users using the paper design. For further improvements, we added descriptions next to the navigation icons for the 4 main pages: dashboard, calendar, tasks, and classes. We conducted usability tests with 5 target users using the first design demo. The average system usability score we got was 84.5, which supports that our interfaces can be easily followed. Our participants also addressed that a checklist design does assist users to follow their study plans. We also expect to use the checklist design to attract the users who only used pen and paper to make schedules previously. Some participants reported that it was confusing to add new events, tasks, or classes from different main pages. In the refined demo, users only need to click on one place, the bottom left corner of the interfaces, to add all kinds of new information.
And now, based on all of the user testing that we just described to you, let's take a moment to look over our final high-fidelity prototype. So we took into account a lot of the user feedback we got, and we started by adding a better onboarding experience for users. So as you can see, they are told which classes are already found under their name, and as soon as they first log in, they're given a calendar that shows all of their events automatically generated. On this calendar, you can visit individual events and see what needs to be done. You can check off individual tasks if you need, and overall, this is the home for students to see what they need to do today in order to stay on track with their courses. Next, users can also add classes and events. In the case that your class is not already added from Quarkus, you can manually search classes here and add them to your classes list, as you can see. You can also get more information about individual classes, and you'll automatically load all of the assignments and term test information, and that'll be inputted into your calendar. If you want to add an event, you have the option to name it whatever you like, select a date and time for it, choose if it's an academic or non-academic event, and whether or not it can be rescheduled. You can add subtasks, and the event will be automatically added to your calendar as well, as you can see. Lastly, users can see how long assignments took their fellow classmates to complete. So let's say we're adding a task. We give it a title, we give it a due date, and then we say what class this task is for, and we give an estimate, say 3 hours for this task. It also specifies below that on average, our classmates took about 2 hours to complete this task instead of 3. So these are just some of the main features of our platform, but if you would like to test the prototype yourself, you can do so here through that link. And that is all for our high fidelity prototype demo.
So for the pros of our design, we have an integration with Quarkus, which allows for automatic import of enrolled classes, assignments, and midterms. We have the ability to add any extra tasks, subtasks, and events manually. We have the ability to manually prioritize tasks, and we have a simplistic design and familiar user interface. For the cons, we notify the user to check in on each event. This may become frustrating or annoying over time. We're requiring users to log in with Quarkus, which limits our user base to only students attending the University of Toronto. And there's no motivational aspect and no reward system for completing tasks, which may not incentivize users to keep on top of their auto-generated events.